guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Emma and I am currently pregnant with my first little one due in October of this year, which is 2020. Today's video is going to be an 18-week update. For the first trimester, I just did one video of the whole trimester, but I feel like so much changes from the time that you are like 12, 13 weeks to the time that you're 28 weeks and the third trimester starts. So I just wanted to break it down into two different updates through the second trimester. So this week is going to be my 18-week update. I'm just gonna go like my first trimester update through every week, talk about my symptoms, put my bump picture from every week, and just anything that's happened over the last 6 weeks up to this point. At the end, I'm also going to talk about my total weight gain so far. So without further ado, let's just jump right on in. So in week 13, I put that I was still sleeping a ton and that I was kind of constipated in week 13. I'm not sure if that's just because I wasn't getting up and moving around a lot because, you know, of course we were in quarantine and I was sleeping a lot, so I was just staying in the house and sleeping, and if things just weren't really moving because of that, or you know, if it was just a regular pregnancy symptom. But those were the two things that were big in week 13, and here is my bump picture. In week 14, I wrote that I felt like I was starting to really see changes in my body, that my bump was starting to show. Not that it was a bump, but I felt like when I looked in the mirror, my body looked different than what I was used to. My appetite was starting to improve a lot, which my appetite has actually, after like about week 14, it picked up and it has been so much better than it was the entire first trimester, which I'm really, really grateful for. With that increase in appetite and eating more, a couple times during week 14, I also experienced a little bit of reflux, or kind of like heartburn, not a lot, but just like maybe 2 or 3 times throughout that week, and I haven't experienced it since then, but that week I did a few times. Starting in week 14, and I'm not gonna say it for every week, but it has just stayed consistent since then, my gag reflex is extreme. Whenever I wrote in week 14 that was the first time I threw up while brushing my teeth, but I have done it a few times since then. Just touching my back teeth makes me heave, and like I said, I have thrown up brushing my teeth like probably 3 times now, since week 14 through now. So that is really not fun. I just like dread brushing my teeth every time now. So that started in week 14 and it has just stayed consistent since then. In week 14 too, one of the most exciting things that had happened thus far was that when I laid on my stomach to sleep, I could actually feel the baby there now. That was like really exciting to me the first time I felt it, because prior to that, you know, I had been having these symptoms, but just that week I started to kind of see a roundness to my belly, and I could feel the baby when I was laying on my stomach, and that made me really start to feel like, oh my gosh, there really is a baby growing inside me. And that was really, really cool and exciting. And here is my bump pic from that. One that I forgot for week 14 is I wrote that my nipples were hurting, which you'll see is kind of a common theme, but I wrote that for week 14. Starting in 15, probably as a result of my appetite having starting to increase the week before, I started to feel a lot more energetic. So I wasn't sleeping as much as I was before. I just felt more energized, and like I said, it was probably a result of being able to eat more, and so that was a really nice feeling. I also wrote that this was the first week where when I was weighing myself, I started to have some weight gain. I don't know if I'm ever gonna share like the exact numbers of where I started and what like my final weight is and stuff. I just don't think that that's really productive for myself or for anybody else watching this that might be sensitive about body image or weight and all that kind of stuff. But I just am going to talk about it in terms of the pounds that I gained versus this was my starting weight and then I was at this weight. I don't really think that's necessary, but you can know that in week 15, that was the first time that when I was weighing myself, I started to notice that I had actually started to gain weight. I think at this point it was probably like half a pound or a pound or something, nothing extreme, but that was the first time that the number was actually a little bit higher than it had been before. In week 15 also, I became very, very cognizant of anything that I felt in my belly because I was just on baby movement watch. I felt like, okay, it's gonna be coming anytime now, and I was just very aware of everything that was happening. Whenever you Google, like, what does it feel like the first time your baby moves, people will say butterflies, people will say gas bubbles, people will say, you know, like, you'll know that it's, you know, a baby moving. And so this week, there were a couple times that I had what sort of felt like gas bubbles, and I still don't know if it was the baby moving or if it was just kind of gas rumbling in my stomach. But I said, you know, this week, not sure if baby is moving or if it's gas. So I had one of those that week. I either had gas or I had a baby moving. Not sure, but one of those things was occurring during week 15. In week 16, I wrote, I feel like baby is moving, but I'm not sure. So kind of the same thing as the week before. I was very aware of everything that was going on down there, but I just couldn't put a for sure, yes, I know this is what's happening on the feelings that I was having. In week 16, I also got some hot flashes. Just could not cool down even without having my jacket on. I would just be sweating and I would just have an overwhelming sense of being really, really hot and sweaty. Like I couldn't focus on anything else other than just how hot I was. Also had a lot of, I guess, round ligament pain, just pain mostly on my left side, what kind of felt like stretching. And then I will also include here, you know, of course I'm gonna put my bump pic, but I will also include here that you could really see that baby was kind of on the left side. So when I looked down at my belly, it was kind of like this shape, like the left side was more raised than the right side, which was really odd to me, but I asked my doctor about it. She said it's nothing to be worried about. You know, just baby can kind of move from one side to the other, and whenever, especially if your bladder's full and it's really pushing it to the surface, then you can kind of see one side where it is to the other. So, you know, that was the first time I really felt like I could see where the baby was. And since then, in the weeks after that, I have noticed it kind of shift from one side to the other and stuff like that. In week 16, also, I had a little bit of lightning crotch or just like nerve pain down in my lady region, which is not at all fun. It's very uncomfortable. And for me, at least, it feels just like kind of a sharp shooting pain. A couple times it sort of hung around, but most of the time it was, you know, just like a few kind of jabs of pain, and then it subsides, but it does kind of, you know, shock your system a little bit whenever you feel that. So in week 17, I wrote that I was absolutely certain that I felt the baby kick. And for me, this experience was, it literally felt like I was being poked, but from the inside. Kind of like a gentle nudge, but from the inside. And it was one of those feelings where it was like literally that could not have been anything else. It did not feel like butterflies. It did not feel like gas bubbles. It felt like, but from the inside, and then from the inside. I don't know how else to describe it. What was really exciting too was, I think just because by nature and my baseline, I am fairly lean, especially whenever my bladder's full and the baby's kind of pushed to the front. I know that it is very, very early, but I could actually feel those nudges and those pokes, as I like to call them, because that's what it feels like, probably just because the limbs are so itty bitty. But I could actually feel them from the outside. And in week 17, Hayden was actually able to feel it one time, just having his hand in the right place at the right time. Now, most of the movements that I felt, he couldn't feel, but there was one time where he was like, I felt that one. and I could actually feel it with my hand at certain points as well. In week 18, now that I am on, I have felt the baby moving a ton. It's not, constant. There'll be a few hours where I don't really feel anything, and then all of a sudden within 5 minutes of each other, it's like, they're moving all around, and I feel, 4 or 5 movements within just a really short period of time from another. So that's really exciting to start feeling the baby move throughout different parts of the day, every day. Makes me feel a lot more, I guess, connected with the baby, or like just have a greater awareness and understanding that like my child is growing inside of me. Like, it's not just a theory, like being pregnant, oh, I'm pregnant, it's just an idea. It's like, wow, there really is a human in there moving around, getting comfortable, sleeping, waking up, moving around, So that's really, really cool. And Hayden has been able to feel it a couple more times since then. For him to feel it, it really is like right place, right time. In the evening, I'll be like, oh, I just felt something, and he'll put his hand there, and I might be able to feel it, but he's like, I can't feel anything. Or, I'll feel the baby move, and by the time he puts his hand there, the baby's comfortable and isn't moving around anymore. So there's just been like 1 or 2 other occasions where Hayden put his hand there and was actually able to feel a little poke, a little nudge from the outside. But I'd say I get to feel it with my hand, just on my belly here, probably like once a day, or maybe a couple times a day. Anytime I feel a movement, I auto just put my hand there and see if I can feel it, because I love to feel those little nudges with my hands. So I'm really looking forward to being able to share that with the rest of our family. So lastly, for week 18, my nipples, I feel like, are getting bigger and darker, just more prominent than they were before, which is a really weird experience, because I don't know. I mean, that it's going to happen, but it is weird to look in the mirror and feel like, okay, that looks different than it did before. And also they have just been kind of painful. I don't notice it when I'm just wearing clothes, but if I'm washing my body, or, something brushes up against me, it just doesn't feel good there. And up until now, and I'm like midway through week 18 right now, I have gained about 5 pounds from my starting weight. In the first trimester, I really did not have a lot of appetite, so I just wasn't really eating very well. I definitely didn't gain any weight in my first trimester, and I have tried to be very cognizant of trying to eat more calories than is my baseline to try and gain weight a little bit, but I don't want to try so hard to eat calories that I just am eating a bunch of trash food, because I also don't want to do that for my baby. I think I'm going to end the video here. I think I've pretty much exhausted everything through 18 weeks. I quickly shot this little bump date because I forgot. So this is me standing normally and then sucking in from the side. Here's me from the front, and then the other side. And then this is a photo of whenever I lay flat, what my belly looks like. Our scan that will tell us the gender is going to be on May 28th, and today is May 17th, so only 11 days till we have our scan, and then we're gonna have a little gender reveal party on June 6th, so I have to wait over a week from that scan until we'll actually find out, which is sad, but I'm really, really excited to find out. It's really not that long away now, so I'm just really excited about that. So I'm going to stop the video here. I've been rambling for a long time. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this. You like pregnancy content, mommy content, maternity content, all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to my channel. That's what it's all about here. And if you are not already, you can follow me on Instagram. I'll put my handle right here so you can find me easily, and the link is also going to be in the description below. That's going to be it. Have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.